I feel like I need a song for Georgia.
Well, aren't you?
No.
No, don't do that, please.
Georgia.
Okay, I'm going to let her in. I'm going to let her in.
Come wine with me.
Oh, who's knocking at the door? The door. Who's knocking? Who's knocking at the door? The door.
Hello.
Hello.
Already eating my dinner.
Ish. Oh, come wine with me. Cool. It's all about
Gotta
eating
come
and
with the
drinking.
wine. Gotta come with the wine.
Right,
So,
exactly.
So Georgia Elliott-Smith, Ecowarrior extraordinaire, going to tell us how to save the planet.
Oh my goodness.
One step at a time. It's like we've come to you as the guru on all things eco and sustainable, and you're going to deliver. So tell us a bit about you, what you do, and what your mission is.
Wow. Okay. So I'm an environmental consultant in my work, and I work in industry, like helping corporates to become more environmentally friendly and working on property projects and with businesses to just generally make them all green and groovy and, you know, social value and lots of cool stuff like that. And then in my spare time, I'm an environmental activist with Extinction Rebellion, and also a campaigner against waste incineration as well. So I kind of do a few different things. And
I feel like I left something out, because I don't know whether this falls under environmental activists, but that rubbish plugging.
Plugging.
Wrong thing. Plugging, right. Plugging.
Plugging.
Tell Sareta all about
plugging.
Plugging. I know it sounds like a made up thing, right? Plugging, it comes from Sweden, and it is this thing, it's picking litter and jogging. So I know, right? This is like China's worst nightmare.
Cute.
So basically, it's going out for a nice run, and as you go along, you know, having a bag with you, wearing a pair of gloves or whatever, having a little litter picker, and just going out picking up rubbish as you go.
So is there like a whole community of like, is it
Ploggers?
Ploggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there like a whole community of ploggers?
Yeah, it's a thing now. And like even people who aren't jogging, they're just out taking their kids to school or just walking in the street, are picking up rubbish as they go. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not everybody, of course. Yeah, I do consider myself an eco-warrior these days. I didn't for a long time. In fact, I was, because with my work, started out working in the construction industry. And so there I was, this kind of young girl, you know, with my swinging ponytail, turning up on site going, hey guys, I tell you what, let's try and save the planet, yeah. You know, they were like 30 years in construction, just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in order to try and get taken seriously, I used to kind of dumb it down a little bit, you know, be like, yeah, you know, yeah, don't worry about all that, you know, it's fine, just do your best, you know, really trying to compromise on everything, trying to press a bit, but not enough to really make massive change, massive difference, because I was already so different from everybody else. I was trying to kind of win people over. And anyway, so that was kind of my career for a while. Then I got a bit more confident and a bit more bolshy, but still everything I was trying to sell was so difficult that I felt every time I walked into a room, I felt compromised. So I felt I had to try and make myself more like them than being a bit of one out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it all changed last year when I went to the Extinction Rebellion uprising in central London. So I don't know if you remember, like it was in Oxford Circus, they had the big so it was really the first time anyone had ever heard of Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah,
and
that was me.
Yeah, like nobody, me too, you know, and I'm like, I've been in this field for a long time. And it was actually my sister who was staying with me at the time that weekend, and she said to me, I'm really surprised you're not there. And I was like, yeah, I'm surprised too. So I was like, well, I'm just going to pop down there and have a look, and I'll be back for lunch. And so I went down and saw them, and I was, from the moment I got there, and these people were so friendly, and everything they were saying made so much sense to me. And it just put me in touch again with my passion, with the total hypocrisy of what's going on in the system, that I just from that day was like, that is it. I am part of the problem. The way I'm behaving is part of the problem. And if I can't use my education, my experience, my skills, my network to really change things, then I can't live with myself anymore. Yeah. So I just turned it around from that day. And I really own it now. I'm a full-on environmental activist. I'm a campaigner. I'm out there. I have been really honest with my clients. So I've set up my own business and I've run it from this place of passion, of genuinely owning that protest, about going, I will not enable mediocrity anymore. I will not enable greenwash. I am here to challenge you. I am here to make things better. And if you just want an environmental consultant who's going to smooth things over and compromise and make it comfortable for you, then you have come to the wrong place. I am all about changing the way things are done, and I want you to come on that journey with me. Let's do it together.
I love that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it properly. Otherwise, it's not going to make an impact. Like you said, it's like, that's what your job is. So let's make a difference and educate other people. Yeah.
But you would be amazed at how many other people in my field are not in that place at all. And so many of my contemporaries have said to me that it's suicide to be a really out there activist, to be challenging corporates, to be like on LinkedIn. I've even today posted something about, there's this amazing report that has come out exposing the really underhand tactics from major corporates like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, who are basically plastics producers, like the biggest plastic producers in the world, about how on one hand they are telling the world, they're trying to participate in the solution and reduce plastics, but on the other hand, they're spending billions and billions of pounds on lobbying, paying off officials and all the rest of it to keep things the way they are. Profit from it. And so, I published that report on my LinkedIn feed and openly criticised and name checked the heads of sustainability from those corporates, because because I want people to know that this is going on. And I want the system to change. We'll get onto that in a bit about kind of how we do it, but I'm not about making individuals feel guilty about the choices that they make. There are massive corporates out there who are responsible for 90% of this problem that we're in, and they have to sort it out.
Have you had any backlash since becoming so vocal about all of this?
I've had a few of my contacts have got in touch with me and said, I think you're doing the wrong thing. So they've said, you should be careful about this. People are talking about your stance being really extreme. But actually, those people that have said that to me are not people I respect anyway. And actually, my clients who are from major corporates, really big organizations, and those people who employ me whenever there's an Extinction Rebellion, like they know I'm going to a protest, they'll send text messages going, I'm going to watch the news, try not to get yourself arrested. And like, these are my clients who I love that about my life now, that actually I am one person. What I believe in my life outside of work is what I do
inside of it. Perfect.
People. And that kind of bringing those two parts of myself together has given me an authenticity and a passion that I think my clients really respect.
I saw today something that went along the lines of, don't accept criticism from anybody that you wouldn't accept advice from. So if they're not somebody you would go to, that you value their opinion, then why would you value their opinion when they're being nasty critical about your 100%.
That's so true,
right?
Come wine with me.
I've never been to a protest, so coming.
Come with me. Come to
I would love
protest.
to. Do you know what? I live in Essex, and that's the problem. I live in Essex, and I never know when the protests are going to happen. It happens. I'm like, where was my memo? Where was my memo? Where was my invite? So
in London, it was in London.
Protest. Well, yeah, obviously. Protest. If you've never been to a protest before and you really want to go, do you have advice? What are like some safety tips, or I don't know, are you like worried when you go?
No, like it is not like what you see on the news, you know, like do not believe. I know.
Sareta,
who could have guessed?
You know.
Who could have guessed that the news does not always tell it the way it is? A shocker.
Okay.
You know, actually quite a lot of protests are quite boring. You know, you turn up and people are wandering about, and you know, you're kind of expecting smoke bombs and the police charging you and like horses and sirens, and everyone's got these smoke flares. Please. Funnily enough, no. Normally it's terribly polite, and everyone's walking around going, "Oh, hello, so nice to see you." You know, and like everyone's super lovely. Like when I turned up at Extinction Rebellion, my first ever protest, I was like, oh, God, what's it going to be like? Like thinking I was going to have like eyes on the exit. You know, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I turned up. I came out the tube station. I stood there for about maybe 2 minutes looking around. And somebody came up and offered me a plate of vegan chili.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Just came up and went, are you hungry? Would you like some food? We've cooked for everybody. And like, you know, gave me this plate of vegan chili. I was like, I had my lunch. I was like, oh no, but I love you. I really love you.
I'm one of those people who are like, a protest is happening, amazing. But I see it when it's happening and I've missed it. So how do you know?
So there are so many groups on Twitter, Facebook, you know, that you can sign up. So a lot of the XR stuff is, XR is the shorthand for Extinction Rebellion. Mm-hmm. They organise a lot of it through Telegram, through Facebook. And you can do like beginners protesting, where you'll turn up to like an XR families event, and they've kind of like got lovely tents. Yeah, you take your kids along and just go and have a lovely picnic and eat vegan chili and like play drums, dress your kids up like a bee.
Yes.
The other thing about XR that I really love, that Extinction Rebellion, like people, you would never know this from looking at the news, but there's such a beautiful network there of so we have this system whereby you can decide whether or not you are arrestable, right? And I know this is really controversial particularly in the Black Lives Matter protests, right? Because us predominantly in XR white middle class people, you know, for us getting arrested is very different from a lot of society getting arrested. So but within XR you can participate in different levels of action. So in advance you will know whether or not something is likely to end up with action that is arrestable. And you decide in advance whether or not you are an arrestable or not. And if you decide that you're open to the idea of being arrested, and this is for non-violent disruption, so basically like sitting down in the street and refusing to move, that's like an arrestable non-violent action. Chaining yourself to a lamppost,
this is like 1960s civil rights movement.
But what's lovely about it is it's not spur of the moment, so it kind of looks like a load of crazy hippies turn up and just like smashed it up. It's not like that. It's a very, very well organized, very well supported move. If you're an arrestable, you get a buddy, and that buddy is like a welfare person and a legal observer, and you are both trained in what your legal rights are. So you get training in like what your rights are, what all the different things are, like a section 14, a section 19, you get taught about what these things are, what a police officer has to do before they arrest you. Things like you should never take a piece of paper off the police, you know, certain trigger words. And also you have an observer with you. So if the police officer doesn't do all the right things in the process, then they are watching and taking notes. And also they will record, they will take your possessions off you so that they don't get taken by the police. They will record what station you're taken to so that you can get somebody waiting at that station for you when you're released. So it's like a very, very well organised
That's
system.
amazing.
Everybody who goes to an XR protest, like there's loads of people walking around handing out what they call bust cards. So you get a bust card, which basically tells you all of your rights, what all the things mean, phone numbers for all the legal practices that are specialists in protest, like specific protest law, so that they can be your first. Then they say, first phone call must be to XR head office, second phone call is to your lawyer, you know, one of this list. And it's just, the whole thing is really well done, like in terms of
coordinated.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. And it's all very, very non-violent.
If somebody wanted to protest, is it a good idea for them to try to get into that network and do it via XR means, or can they do their own little mini protest outside of Extinction Rebellion?
I would say that it is definitely a great organisation to be part of, because all that training is available. Like if you're interested in participating in a movement about environmental issues and about social justice and there's loads of things that XR are interested in, find yourself one of the subgroups that they're particularly interested in. And there are all kinds of subgroups like around particular issues. Go on Facebook, just type in Extinction Rebellion. Could be your local area, like there's every single borough or county or town has got their own XR chapter. You can find like I say, families, XR scientists, XR doctors, XR mums, XR anti-incineration.
When, like, before I even met you, which was today, unless we met before and I was drunk and I didn't know.
No, maybe I must have been drunk too, because I'm sure we haven't. Or maybe Trevor's birthday. Were you Trevor's birthday?
We are here for Cee. I love her. For her birthday party at the Hoxton in London.
Hello. Sorry, mate. I don't have any change at all. Sorry, dude.
Awkward.
Can you just take my sincerest gratitude into your hearts, because I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules and your lives and coming and celebrating with me. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks to you.
When I think of like Ecowarrior, I literally have like that stereotype in my mind, like they're gonna be white,
dreadlocks, or
they just didn't brush their hair, let's be honest, and
they live in like a community and just smoke weed and the hippie vibes and incense, which I absolutely love. I've always wanted to join a community. Might start one, but that's kind of what I envision an Ecowarrior to be. I just really believe in the whole community thing, and I'd love to just get some land and have some fellow Ecowarriors with me, with everyone, and grow the most amazing foods. So that would be life.
I get that, but at the same time, I kind of go, oh, wouldn't that be lovely? And then I wake up screaming, because that's not really. And that's why I am so proud, and I tell everybody that I'm an Extinction Rebellion protester, because I want to challenge that perception of what people think they know about it. And hence, when I wear my XR logo, I wear my XR t-shirt, when the protests are on, I'm tweeting about it, it's on my LinkedIn, I'm talking about it. At meetings, my clients, everybody knows that's what I do. And even in my office, I've got like an XR poster on the wall behind me.
Amazing.
Because I want to fundamentally challenge what they think they know about the whole eco movement, and the fact that it is not what the press portray it to be. It is normal people who are terrified about what is going on and are trying to do something to change it.
What can normal people do to change what's going on? How can we get involved? If people, for example, don't want to go out and protest,
That's fine.
But they want to make a difference. What kind of things can we do?
Okay, so the first thing that I think I want everybody to understand is the stuff that you do and buy is so irrelevant. Like, it is, people worry about doing their recycling or buying, you know, the latest recycled thing, or like reusable coffee cups or reusable water bottles. We get so hung up on this bags for life, you know, going, I'm doing my bit. That is such a drop in the ocean. There's 100 companies in this world that are responsible for 70% of carbon emissions. Okay.
Wow.
And the system, the way that the system is set up is so faulty that it is not possible to live in this world, in this society that we live in, particularly in the West, and make a difference with the stuff that you buy and the things that you do in your own home. Like, that is really, the system is so messed up that no matter what you do, you're a hypocrite. Like, the car you drive, the house you live in, the stuff you buy will always be part of the problem. Okay, so everyone needs to let go of that eco guilt stuff about, I don't feel like I'm doing enough, you know, about the stuff you buy. Let go of that. The thing that I try and tell everybody is the most important thing to do is things like vote, write to your MP, the brands that you buy from, challenge them. So, like, if you really like a particular brand of trainers or jeans or blooming cookware or t-shirts, whatever, write to them and say, what are you doing about the climate crisis? What are you doing about the environment? And the thing about that is that most people don't. They worry about what they are doing themselves personally. They don't ask questions up the chain. And that is where change happens. It's like, you might only be one letter at 9 o'clock in the morning, but if they get another letter at midday and another tweet at 1 o'clock and another couple of tweets, you know, at 12, you know, it goes on and it multiplies. And by the end of that week, they're then going, this is a thing. Like, lots of people are asking us about this now. We need to do something about it. And that is how you make change happen, is by actually challenging governments, politicians, brands, organizations. You make your consumer voice matter by asking questions. And you don't even need to have the answers. Just ask, what are you doing about this? I've noticed that you're using tons of plastic in your packaging. Why? What are you doing about waste? What are you doing about the environment? So many products that are made out of 100% recycled plastics and yarns and things that are made out of things like fishing nets that have been taken out of the sea and crazy stuff. And actually they were really nice and they were cheaper than like a pair of Nikes. Of course, they've not got, I shouldn't say that brand.
We'll
it's
bleep
okay.
it out. We'll bleep it out.
Like, no. I like calling people out, remember? So why not?
Oh,
not like Nike gonna sponsor us.
Well, but it's like cheaper than a high street brand. And actually then is fully ethical. In fact, this brand in particular, it even gives you a photograph of the person who made your trainers.
No way.
And you can tip them. You can give them a tip.
What?
I know.
No. Please say this. We will send. What's the link? Sorry.
Okay,
what is the company?
So Ethical Consumer is the name of the company and the name of the magazine. And this particular brand is called Pozu, which is a Japanese word. Pozu. And I mean, God, they've even got a link up with Star Wars, where they've got like Star Wars trainers and things. It's like they've got so much cool stuff. And they're made out of 100% recycled material. They're super ethical in their brand and the way that they behave. They have like a take back. So end of life, when your trainers are dead, send it back, they'll recycle them, you know, and like all this stuff. It's like super cool. This is the one as well that they make the trainers in either India or Bangladesh, I'm not sure, but they are fully ethical factories. They know the staff. They're like family. They employ the same people full time. They're not just contract, cheap labor. They give them jobs. They give them benefits. They pay them really well. You get a photograph of the person. You can tip. It's like the whole thing is so cool, and it's cheaper than your standard trainers. And I'm just like, why would I not do that? That is so nice.
But then also, why can't brands do this?
Because they will say the customers aren't asking for it, because the customers don't know that that's the alternative. If we start writing to the brands, if those companies start to become popular and making money, the bigger brands will go, there's money to be made in that. But at the moment, there's money to be made out of keeping customers in the dark, really shoddy practices, and just what these companies, they're marketing companies, they're not really sportswear companies. They are all about the image. So you don't actually care about whether there's child labour in the supply chain. We know this from Primark. Asda clothing, there are child labourers there who have been murdered by their co-workers, and Asda have not changed their supply chain.
I didn't know about that.
This stuff happens, but you don't know unless you look into it. Animal agriculture is destroying the planet through pollution, through the vast majority of grain crops that we grow on the planet go to feed animals, not people.
Wow.
Huge. The main reason that the rainforests are burned and cut down is for animal grazing, or to grow soy to feed to animals.
No way.
Not for wood, not to chop down wood and sell wood. It's to they burn the forest to clear the land to grow beef cattle. That's what it's for. So when you start to understand these things, and then all of the antibiotics and chemicals that are fed into these cattle, which are all kept together, pigs, chickens, everything, are kept in such close quarters that they get infections, diseases, because they're not living naturally. They're pumped full of chemicals and medicines, and then of course all of that flows out in the water. It poisons rivers, it kills fish, kills coral reefs. So when you start to learn about that stuff, you go, oh my god, I did not know about that. So there's another thing launched yesterday. It is called Kiss the Ground, I think it's called, and it's Woody Harrelson is the narrator, and it is about the fact that the soil is dead on this planet, like the agricultural soil, because they spray it with so many chemicals, they kill everything that is in it.
That makes
sense. And therefore the food that grows out of it is dead. It's just dead stuff. It looks green, it looks vibrant, but there is no nutritional value in it, and it's actually killing the planet. Like, it's just turning soil into just dust. And it is amazing. Like, organic produce should have bugs on it. They should be eating it. Like, it's a living thing. And the problem is, if our food is covered in chemicals that kill bugs, what is it doing to the bacteria that live inside your gut?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's killing you from the inside. It is not healthy. And so, I mean, again, this is kind of eco-shaming. It's not eco-shaming. It's just trying to wake people up to what is going on in the world. And that actually you have a choice. Like, some people have a lot more choices than others. But if you have a choice, educate yourself, learn about this stuff, make different choices. It's like, it's really interesting. Right. So I'm going to tell you about my legal action, because this is me really going for the jugular. Right. Yeah. So I have been campaigning against this waste incinerator for a couple of years, getting nowhere, just getting fobbed off. You would not believe how many letters, emails, tweets I have written, and I have got basically nowhere. Like, these guys just keep fobbing me off, saying, oh, it's the best thing ever. Basically, this incinerator emits unicorn farts. What's your problem? I'm just, we've been getting nowhere. So I've said, right, the problem here is not the incinerator itself. It's the fact that the incinerator is allowed to be built in the first place. Like, we've got to go right to the top with this. So an opportunity came up. So one of the silver linings of Brexit is, sorry for using the B word all over your lovely podcast, but one of the silver linings of Brexit is that amongst all of the storm of like negative, horrible stuff, is the fact that the UK has to rewrite loads of environmental regulations. Okay, because now we're leaving Europe, they've got to write new policies. So this gives us an opportunity to challenge them over writing really ambitious environmental policy. And what they've basically done is they've rewritten something called the emissions trading scheme. Now, I'm not going to get massively geeky and technical on you, but this is about taxing polluters for the pollution that they create. Okay?
Right. Oh, wow.
So if you create pollution, you should pay for that pollution. Right.
Yeah.
But these regulations completely leave out waste incineration. They cover, they cover air travel, they cover power generation, they cover like manufacturing, but they specifically leave out waste incinerators. And one of my challenges is to say, hang on a minute, this is one of the biggest polluters in the UK. So waste incinerators produce as much carbon dioxide as the whole of Manchester and Birmingham put together every year. Okay, so that's all of the pollution from transport, housing, industry, everything in those cities. And there's 48 waste incinerators in the UK at the moment, and there's another 60 in construction and planning. So that's going to more than double over the next few years. Yeah. They're just like popping up all over the place. So instead of reducing waste in the first place, like we've been talking about, instead of like cutting out this waste mountain and making manufacturers pay for getting rid of their waste, they're just building more and more and more waste incinerators to just burn it when it goes in the bin. So I've said, no, enough is enough. Like, we've got to stop this. And the way to stop it is not by trying to ask people to care about pollution, because business doesn't care about people. They care about money. That's why they exist. So the way to hit it is to hit them in the pocket and make them pay tax for the pollution that they cause, right? And when you start taxing the pollution, you then make it more expensive for them to run their businesses. So you watch them reduce that pollution. Like when they have to pay for it, that's when they'll start reducing it. Right?
Because
and
it's affecting them.
Exactly, by hitting them in the pocket. Exactly.
So,
and that's the only way that they care.
In terms of this legal stuff, who are you actually? You're the applicant.
Yeah.
Who's the other person? Who are you actually?
My God. This
suing?
is so scary.
Like, how does that work?
Choma, have you seen it? Have you seen my picture of this? Right. So I tweeted the front page of my legal documents. So it's like, this is it. I know. I should put it exactly. Like her T-shirt is exactly it. So the document says the Queen on the application of George Elliott-Smith versus Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy for the UK government, and the Minister for Scotland, Minister for Northern Ireland, Minister for Wales. I know. And I'm like, oh, get me all grown up.
Hit us with your socials or like, anything that's relevant to.
Excellent. Okay. Yes. So I have got my legal campaign. You can follow that. If you're feeling flush, you can bung us a £5. That'd be amazing. So I'm on Crowd Justice. If you go to crowdjustice.com, I think, and type in "make incineration pay," you can find my legal case, and you can see, and I send you updates and emails all about what I'm doing.
Amazing.
I'm in the process of setting up a Facebook page. Hopefully by the time this goes out, I'll have a link that you can provide. Also, I am on LinkedIn professionally. If anybody wants to, I do loads of stuff on LinkedIn. I'm a bit
prolific.
Bye. See you later.
Honey.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.